Welcome back to Bama Bang. Today's episode is about concealed carry. So obviously with a lot of things going on, we've been watching the news, a lot of sad things happening around the country, a lot of violence by terrorists, by people who are just angry, hate other people, and you thought, hey, I need to get myself a concealed carry weapon just in case. I think there's a big misconception out there with a lot of people thinking, hey, if I carry a gun, other people are going to view me as an aggressive person who's just out there looking for the opportunity to shoot another person. Absolutely not. That couldn't be further from the truth. But having a weapon just in case, it's like insurance. It's like a seatbelt. It's like an airbag. It's something you hopefully will never have to use. But if you need it, you absolutely hope you have it, and it works when you need it to protect you and your family and your loved ones, whoever it may be. So out here on the table, we have several different options. There's a lot more options than just these. I don't have the Smith & Wesson Shield out here. I've done another video on that one. If you're interested in that firearm, you can check out that video. But here we have the Glock 42 and 43, which is the new single stack by Glock in 380, and this is the 9mm version. We have the Ruger LCP, which is the smallest of all of these. This is more in the pocket category. And then you have some of the bigger, heavier ones. You have a Colt Defender, and we'll do some size comparisons here in a second. It's chambered in 45. A Bersa Thunder, which is 380, and we also have a Smith & Wesson Model 30, which is chambered in 32 caliber. So you have a variety, and we're going to talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of each one, and what it is you're trying to use. What are you going to use it for? Are you worried more about weight or a caliber or how comfortable it is to carry? We're going to talk about these different things during this episode, so stick with us. We're not going to talk a whole lot about differences in caliber. There's forums and discussions of people all over the internet talking about that. I mean, we have 380s, we have 9s, we have 45s here. Yes, there's a difference in the weight of the bullet and the damage upon impact, but it's all about your shot placement. If your shot placement is good, it's not going to matter. So practice with whatever you choose. And there is a huge difference when it comes to how many will fit in your firearm, the size of the firearm, the width of the firearm, the weight of the firearm, what you're actually carrying around. So that's a huge thing, especially when it comes to concealed carry. You have to take that into effect. For example, the Ruger LCP, standing for Lightweight Compact Pistol, measures in thereabouts 5 inches in length, and its width is going to be just a hair over a ½ inch, closer to 3/4 of an inch. This is a very small gun. This is easily a pocket gun. I've concealed carried up to a Glock 19, and then I went down to the Shield, and then I go down to the Ruger LCP. So people who say, it doesn't matter to me, I'll concealed carry a 1911, well, maybe they can, depends on their body size. But for me, people are typically going to tend towards lightweight, what they can personally handle, and that is partially personal preference. But you have to make that decision. For example, the difference between the LCP and the Colt Defender is enormous. If you look at the barrel, if you look at the caliber, and also the weight, this is a featherweight compared to the Colt Defender. But if you compare the Colt Defender, let's say, to the new Glock 43, it's wider, but the slide length is very, very comparable. If you look down here, it is a little bit longer in the handle, but also these Glock 43s, they come with an extended magazine, which is nice for your pinky if you're going to just go target practicing. And they have one that's flush if you're going to concealed carry. So that makes the difference that much more noticeable. So, and obviously you have the weight difference too with Glocks, which are polymer framed, and then you have your slide, and these, which are full metal construction. Yes, they're big, they're heavy duty, but you have to consider this when you're concealed carrying. And then you have an intermediary, the Bersa 380, which, believe it or not, even though it's quite large in this section of group, is quite popular amongst concealed carry holders. It's got a decocker. It's almost like a Walther copy, but much cheaper, obviously, and it's nice. We've had great reliability out of this, and these are actually made in Argentina and imported into the U.S. Also a great choice, and that's in 380. The Glock 42 I really like. This is in 380 auto. It's small, it fits my hand perfectly. If you want to compare it size-wise, against the 43, a little bit shorter. If you look at the bottom, well, I need to get this flush magazine in here so we're comparing apples to apples. Alright, now they both have the flush magazines in there. Very, very similar. Let's make sure I've got it all. Just a little bit shorter. Then if you compare the lengths, you know, we're right at 5 3/4 and 6 inches for these pistols in length. Length is very important because, you know, when you have these inside your waistband, inside your pant, these back here is really going to stick out. So you want to also measure that when you're looking at concealed carry. How far is that? You want that as short as possible so it's more easily concealed. And then for those of you who are afraid of automatics or you think they're not as reliable, there's always the snub nose revolvers, which revolvers are they're mechanical in nature. You don't have to worry about the automatic or the gas blowback or anything like that. Every time you pull the trigger, it's going to cycle, and if it doesn't, you just pull the trigger again. You don't have to worry about racking a slide again or trying to correct a misfeed or something like that. They're proven, they're true, they've been used for hundreds of years. The thing is, you have to remember with these is, of course, your capacity. You're only going to get a few rounds with these. And, of course, all these, you're not going to get a whole lot of rounds. But with technology, you're still going to get more than these revolvers a lot of times. Well, with these small singles, you're still going to get, you know, 6+1, 7+1. It's not a whole lot of difference. And these are also quite concealable, but they're metal framed. So you have to consider that. You have to consider weight, length, and height on all these, your capacity. This is something you need to carry on you all the time. You know, you don't just put your seatbelt on some of the times, or when you think you might have a crash, you have to keep it on you all the time. What pistol are you going to be able to keep on you more times than not? Alright, we're out here in the watermelon patch today. We're going to be shooting at the different targets. We've got a target, if you look over here, for each gun. They're all the exact same target and they're filled to the same level water-wise. And I've set them at 21 feet of distance from us, which I was actually surprised at how close that actually is. They say 21 feet or less is where most encounters take place. So this is what we're going to practice at. It's actually very close. It's closer than I actually thought it would be. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to work our way from left to right, show you what the gun and what the caliber will do to an exact, the same target for each gun. So stick with us. Alright, the first one we're going to be using is the Ruger LCP in .380. I'm going to be shooting the target on the left. Okay. Alright, the next one's going to be the Glock 42, also in .380. Failure to fire. We had one round that didn't go off. So we picked up that round. It was obviously not the gun's fault. Primer was struck, the round just didn't go off. Alright, now we're going to be doing the Bersa 380 on the fourth target. Now we're going to be shooting the Glock 43 chambered in 9mm. And finally, we're going to shoot the Colt Defender chambered in .45 ACP.